Good night and welcome to Mindful Live 382. I am your host Nathan Springer, your co-host on occasion. Thank you for being here. It is the 18th of April, moving well along in the fourth month of the year 2024 of the Common Era, or AD. In the year of our Lord, whichever you choose. Positive Radiation is very upset. He is inside of the live at the very beginning, very upset. And I know this gentleman. I happen to be familiar with what he's upset with. And usually, when the guy with the raspy, deep voice and the slight Tobagonian accent is upset, it has something to do with the sister isle. As far as I could tell, I'm seeing something brewing over there where apparently this business about the THA not wanting central government to use some facilities, etc. is being read again. That is coming up again. And the thing is really and truly, the people that suffer for these things the most are the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who live in Tobago. The Trinbagonians who reside in Tobago, the Tobagonians. Good night, Daniel Knights. They are obviously the ones who would suffer from this bad mind the most. The secretaries themselves are in by and large cushy jobs in cushy positions. They aren't too worried about the daily nitty-gritty in and out, to and fro of what is needed by these things. But the central government, if the central government is using infrastructure, using a facility in Tobago, the reason is almost certainly going to be for something to at least ostensibly benefit Tobagonians. That's the only reason the central government would do something in Tobago. Like, I mean, all right, if it was something like, I remember the licensing officer business, like, I could get that. If you're talking licensing and you don't know licensing officers in your country, I don't blame you because I kind of don't want them either. Hey, on that Tobago note, I had a long discussion with a gentleman this evening, tonight here. That's partially the reason we may have run a little late. And, you know, he was telling me an interesting thing. He was wondering, why don't we switch the Minister of Transport and the Transport Commissioner with the Minister of National Security and the Police Commissioner? Because the licensing seems to be very effective at taking our money, while the police seem very effective at doing roadblocks. So, let's switch commissioners, see what happens. It wasn't only the ministry, it was also Red 96.7. Yikes. But that's the thing, that's kind of the point I was making, Daniel Knights, because if the government is doing something, by and large, they aren't doing it for them. By and large. Like, maybe you could say that the contractor might get money and that's how the government gets their benefit, and okay, we could go down that road, but the reason behind the event, the occasion, is almost always going to be something to benefit the citizens. So if you are playing this kind of my game, my one game is mine and I'm not going to lend it to you kind of game, who benefits? Who benefits from that? Like, what would be the positive reasoning for doing something like that? If we want to give you the benefit of the doubt and think that, okay, you are doing something positively here, you are doing this for good reason, what would be the good reason? No, I didn't hear the clarification video yet. Positive. What was the clarification? How did he clarify that? Oh, Michael Modest. And, you know, I think, and this is my opinion, but I think the fact that this politician was willing to engage overtly, well, covertly, but overtly within camp in propaganda, and then went on to try and explain this away, that propaganda is what we all do, and that makes me look at all of your explanations now from henceforth. I look at them with a great deal of trepidation, because I know you are a propagandist. So when you tell me something, when you communicate to me, I don't look at your communication at face value. I look at it with the understanding that there might be some propaganda involved. Positive says come development courses was clashing with ministry for the same building, and email could have sorted that out. Well, of course. And when I read the statement coming from, was it the sports secretary? When I read his statement, that didn't sound like a disruption in schedules was the issue. That sounded like someone flexing their power. Alright, word, Ronnie, word. That sounded like someone flexing their power, not like someone just looking to, you know, solve an issue and stop the mix-up that we've been having here. Ronnie, you're back up there?
Sorry, yeah, good night.
What's going on?
I just wanted to say last year we had the same conversation, because this is not the first time it happened.
Yes.
And it's not just the ministry though. Like my aunt wanted to have a birthday time party thing, and she wanted to use the community center. And normally you just contact somebody in the council or whatever. And when she called the person like, hey, the facility available, whatever, and the person was like, oh well, we have to pass this on to the secretary. We can't do any bookings for anybody. Is the secretary have to approve? And it's like, what? Birthday party, so like you so want to micromanage?
Listen, I find that group, that specific man with the namesake of an authoritarian leader in Cuba. Listen, something I don't like, and I know it might be controversial in Trinidad, because many Trinidadians have a flavor for the flair and the out there. So the Chavez characters and the actually he's a Venezuelan authoritarian. The Chavez characters and the Castro characters and all of those kind of characters, many Trinidadians have a liking for them. And if I were to guess who our current Tobagonian leader seems to be emulating, he has a flavor like the South Africans. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the South African taint of that socialist style, and he has that kind of flavor. And you see, at the end of the day, it almost always devolves into authoritarian things.
No, it's positive. I know. I'm telling you the person, because our family accustomed hosting things in the community center. We're from Lowlands, so we used to use the Lowlands multi-purpose, whatever they call it now, right? So we are accustomed, we know to talk to get these centers. It's not that you call the wrong person. The person is saying that it must go into the secretary's office for approval.
But Ronnie, Ronnie, I don't even understand why that would be a question, because there was a memo sent out. I saw the memo today from a certain secretary with the very same thing written on it, that if anybody is to do anything, it must be signed off by me. Okay, power hungry guys. The Napoleon syndromes.
It could probably be, the family name. So maybe secretaries don't usually get involved in this,
and they shouldn't.
I read anything.
I know. I'm replying to that.
What date that was, but my aunt party was supposed to be in August of last year. So that's how long ago this thing, since August last year.
Yeah. Listen. Anytime you're too much on that antsy side, those things happening. You if you're moving in that opposition way, how else is it going to turn out? And as far as I know, Daniel Knights, from what I'm hearing, it's not even just that, It's not even only punishing opposing politics. It's punishing people who don't support you enough. And you're right, that happens in politics pretty regular, you know. That happens in politics pretty regular, especially with a new party. They're looking to consolidate. They're looking to hold positions and strengthen themselves. This is the do or die term for that party. Like the thing with the PNM. You're not hearing me, Otis? That's strange. Is everyone hearing me? The thing with the PNM is they aren't desperate for each win. Like, good night, Kwesi Andrews. They aren't desperate for each win. Like, the PNM could lose the next election, and the PNM as a party knows that the next one they'll be there again. Even the UNC has some of that. The TPP may not have that necessarily. So, they could be trying to get everything done in as short a time as possible. Good night, Miguel Donawa. Correct, Abu Friday. Tobago is PNM country. Well,
national party that runs in Tobago, that's the whole
like, I mean,
is by proxy UNC, that's the whole problem. Why UNC don't come and run in Tobago?
But
let Tobago support a national party beside PNM.
But the Trinidad and Tobago could be said to be PNM country to some extent. The PNM has ruled this place for the vast majority of our existence. That's just the reality of our history. That's just the reality of our history. So it's when you're looking at it, that is what you're going to find. If you're trying to punish all the PNM loyalists in all the positions, in all the bureaucratic positions around the country, you're going to turn the country upside down. These people have been in power since the 60s. Of course, they are embedded all over. If you're trying to undo that, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Trini politics is different to Tobago. Well, yes, obviously, because as Ronnie rightfully said, the UNC participates in Trinidadian politics, so of course the Tobago politics would be different. Tobago is PNM versus the local group. That's generally how Tobago goes, while Trinidad is PNM versus the UNC. Now, you see an obvious alignment there, where the Tobago local group could have an alignment almost automatically with the UNC in Trinidad, and that's what you regularly see happening. Now, the unfortunate, I don't know if they use the word unfortunate, but the interesting thing is when you look at the demographics, by that I mean the racial makeup of the country and Tobago, and you understand that UNC is an East Indian heavy party and Tobago is more Afrocentric in terms of their demographics, you understand why there are some difficulties there. And regularly you see the PNM attempting to wedge a divider in between the local parties and the Tobagonians by saying that the PNM is the UNC is really coming in here to take over, because a lot of Tobagonians seem to obviously be very interested in that self-governance and we take care of our own and we will do this better kind of business. And okay, I understand the feeling. I understand why you would have that feeling. So, but with that, it's also an easy thing to fairmonger. You might not necessarily buy the fairmongering, but it's an easy thing to fairmonger. If what you're worried about is you taking care of your own, if somebody tells you that this isn't your own, this is actually a foreign party using them as a Trojan horse, yikes. Miguel Danoa says Trinidad and Tobago politics is very spiteful and immature. Well, Miguel Danoa, politics everywhere in the world is spiteful and immature. They are dragging Donald Trump every which way inside of the United States, with every Democrat district that can attempting to charge him with a crime. Many of them being quite ridiculous when you look at them in detail. So isn't that immature? and spiteful, and that's the big United States. In Britain, they had a prime minister during the pandemic who was banning people from seeing their grandparents die while he was partying with his people. Drinks and music playing inside of the official buildings. It's not just a Trini thing, really and truly. Where was it? Had a fight recently. Some one of those Kazakhstan or some one of those Eastern European bloc countries, I think. The parliament had a fight. Was it Georgia? Georgia, I think it was. Georgia. One of their MPs was in parliament delivering a speech, and another MP ran up and hit him a right hand buttocks.
This is some other lad politics.
Who is going to do it? Who you could feel might swing?
To be a young, this boy, Sawa.
You feel Saddam will make us? I don't feel Saddam will swing at anybody.
And that could. Everybody else, they really can't. You know who could do it though? Like the senators. Anil is a senator.
Yeah. I could see Anil doing that. I could see Anil taking a swing.
I could see it.
To be honest, I could see Dr. Rowlers taking a swing. Somebody could get a clout. I could see him taking a swing. Like not, I'm not talking literally, but like if anybody would, like if the things get, I mean, he was allegedly involved in the teacup and all of that incident. So I could see somebody, getting a quick hand. I feel Marvin Gonzalez, he looked like he might tumble somebody.
Marvin had a pass a hand.
Marvin, Dr. Amory, I feel he a little soft. But when you watch him in the suit, he looks like a man like he might hit a little gym or something. So, naked, for true, facts. How I leave that out? He might be the first.
Nothing. Heinz green, I'm just Heinz high.
Listen. Yeah, Georgia, I said that Jimmy King. Listen, we saw the water incident revealed that Heinz would make a swift exit. Even though, just so you know, the man that dashed the water on Heinz is dead.
She died really years later.
He didn't die by natural causes. And that was, listen, Ronnie, that wasn't really years later. That was less than 5 years.
So you holding a man in that 5 years? Oh gosh.
Ronnie, if a man dash dirty water on me on national television, listen, they make memes out of that, you know. I sure that went international. He could have family living in Australia and they messaging him the next day, hey, Fitzy, I hear they dash dirty water on you and beat him. Nah, you could hold that to heart. I could hold that. I'm letting you know. I could hold that.
Oh, I guess so. I mean,
so Abu, you feel he let the thing die down. He let the noise die down and then tuck back and take care of that.
Well, I mean, if you don't want to tie back to yourself, if the man 2 weeks later.
Exactly. That would seem too obvious. No doubt. I probably have to go and look back at that video. No doubt in that video, you might see Heinz look back. And if you pause at the exact moment, you might see the moment it's sealed in his mind. You're going to be dealt with. Oh, you like dirty water, eh?
Oh, sad.
I'm just saying. So maybe Heinz mightn't swing, but he might swing back.
Well, you know, M will come and bite some ankles. I could see it.
I don't actually think Mr. Colm is the kind to reach the blows. I think he is the...
If you name man.
I think he's the talker. He's the one in the crew, you know, the short man in the crew who hyping everything. Nah, Ketos, you ain't taking that boy. Hit him, boy. You could never take that boy, Keith, boy. Nah. But you name man. I just have a feeling he's the hype. He's the hype man. He is swinging.
I don't know. I think he got hit. I tap and run.
and run and run. He hit a swing, started and dust out, and then he hyping. I could see that, but I feel he's swinging. You feel Should I say this? Nathan, should you say this? You feel Barry taking a swing?
My God, he go swing that please. But that person does be stacked. That person gonna be stacked.
I hear some talk like somebody who was in a recent bit of tankalang with an associate. I hear the associate may be connected, so maybe that person might take a swing. Who could read between the lines? I'm not spelling any more than that. Stuart. Yeah, I feel Stuart will make a call. But y'all, by the way, remember Stewie was the one who had the rifle that he had to give up to the police. Y'all remember that, right?
And fight we talking, nobody bring it. All of them get gone done too fast.
But Stewie looked like he even taking that hand talk. And remember, there were allegations about family members. Next thing, these people connected.
He went and run for Khadijah.
You call people name now, boy. You know people. You went to school with people or something now, boy. You call people name now.
I went to school with a girl named Khadijah. She still like to bite. She was a biter. Yeah, boy.
How does one know this? She got in so many fights.
She used to bite people, like swear the girl really used to bite people.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait. What do you mean bite people? Just randomly bite somebody?
Yeah. Yeah, that girl.
No, I'm not understanding you.
well, it was hard to understand the girl. She used to bite people. For some strange reason, she used to just bite people. I don't know.
Like her close friends and thing?
Like, yeah, people some people she used to be friends with, like she'll become friends with them after too.
And then bite you?
Yeah. Listen, she was our only child. Like, you know.
It's how in Trinidad. I remember making a note of that a while ago. It's how in Trinidad only child is an insult, innit? Well, you be even say you are only child or what? Like when you think about that, hey, I love Trinidad, you know. It's how that's an insult. Only child.
Yeah, boy, the girl was different. But I know, honestly, I think the girl was alone. She really was a child. Her father had died and her mother used to work around in St. Hours. So she just used to be by herself.
That's actually a sad story.
Yeah.
A very sad story.
I found.
I don't know Kwesi Andrews. I don't know where it's at. Now, bear in mind, many of Trinidad cases take forever. Eh? There are cases in the courts 20 years and stuff. So that's why, for many people who have money, if you have enough money to keep the cases delayed, you basically will never face justice in a lot of these things. Because there are street level bad men out here who are delaying cases 19 years running and still out on the streets. So much more if you have the money to do it.
She all over. I don't know how them take she passport. They didn't take she passport. I know a girl. Friend send some grass for her. I don't know if it was grass. Probably was something more. That's the story she gave me. Right? So I don't know. Probably was something more than grass and in a barrel. And right now, Siska, the first she could go is Trinidad. She can't go away. Sis passport gone.
But Abu Friday, how you would say she isn't a flight risk while she flying out?
Not like it. But I mean, I guess that means she do. I guess it makes sense. Like, she never going and stay out the country. To live outside that should not to be real hard, you know. So she probably say, no, here what? I just want to vacation outside. I don't want to stay.
But the general thing is, if somebody is fleeing, they might not flee if the court case looks like it's going good. But if the court case look like it's going south, she might just not come back. Plant-like substance, and that was on Kamla's window ledge. Listen, y'all. It could have been some of a bougainvillea blow off and land on the windowsill, right?
I guess
so. Well, Mr. Pandey, he said he was making a jail for us, the people. He went in jail, and when he recognizes the old people say jail he make to ripe fig, he said, nah, I'm suffering too much, let me out. And he dive out.
There you go. Anyway, let me start talk there. Anyway, I'm surprised hello.
Tell the people hello.
Hello.
Say good night.
Oh, good night. Oh. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, excuses does work for them. Nothing to work for me. Hello. Hi. Oh, she's so cute.
Oh, yes, I know. What's up? What you trying to tell the people?
Everybody just have to watch and all.
Yes. Hey, leave my mic.
My baby, but they'll in all too. But she can't say nothing. She can't talk.
Who can't talk?
My baby.
You mean the dog?
Yeah. Say something.
Ronnie.
Say something.
Ronnie, I hope you're not one of those people calling yourself a dog mom, eh?
Nah, it's not so serious.
Humans don't make dogs, eh, Ronnie? What sound that dog makes? Exactly. And what sound that human makes?
Look, the baby outdoing you. Say something you older than she.
Give that yet.
Oh gosh. Ow.
Ow what?
Something nice now.
Why? Say something nice like.
No, I'm talking to the dog.
Oh jeez, Ronnie. What you doing, doggy? You expect the dog.
Why she wanna bite me?
No, nobody knows that. The dog is trying to bite.
All the ladies stop to watch the live. All the ladies stop to watch.
But of course, Ronnie. Of course. You're sending a kiss? Count for them. Can you count?
Oh wow, 6. 6, boy. Oh, jeez, let's stop after 4. After 4, you gonna give up?
Guys watching, I wanted a daughter and got 6 sons. Jeez, Dalip. You out here making the small goal side.
Oh, but it's nicer, so.
You out here living that small goal side life. Hey, what going on, people? What's the topic? What are we talking about? Any questions or comments on the inside?
If Hotep was here, we would have a discussion.
On?
We had a very dishonest discussion today. He was was having a discussion in bad faith.
Nisi, how dare you tell that to Dalip? You going for the next one?
Nisi, oh gosh, you're wicked. You're wicked.
Daniel Knight says Rowley broke down the travel. I didn't hear that breakdown. But I had no doubt that he would have broken it down. And when we were talking about that last night, I had no doubt that he could give a reason behind this. I didn't doubt that. The question might be if we get returns for it. Ross Noren says that no son, oh Gildad.
She's talking.
That's not talking, Rani. That's called barking. Your dog is barking.
Oh God, she barking. And you barking. You could bark. You could bark. Yes. Right, so I get this honest conversations having today. How stop it, that's not nice. My dog is inside dog. My dog is inside. I don't understand. Come to them.
Rani, what was the dishonest discussion you all were having?
Right, so boom.
Shot come to boom.
Yeah, so we was talking about it had a fella was trying to talk to me, right? But I was like, boy, that is not for me. And Hotep was trying to be like, oh, you see, you're too, what he said, boy? Basically, like, I want too much, but listen to what happened. Listen to why I don't like the guy, right? First thing first, when he recently started talking, he's working on a building and happened to be outside lunchtime, right? And we talk, just have conversation, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, after 2 times, he was like trying to hug them, like a hug now when I would leave. So I was like, not really for me. I really like to hug people like that, that kind of way. And I explained that to him, and then he still continued trying to get a hug. And then further than that, he tried to I would say is manipulate a hug, because then he would say, like, men don't really get hugs like that, it's such. So I was like, get a hug from your mother.
Oh God. I hope you didn't tell the man that, eh?
I did tell him that, like, you could get a hug from your mother. And he was like, yeah, but that's just my mother. And I was like, I'm sure you have close friends that could get a hug from as well, So, and I was like that, really, hug thing is not really fun right now. So he was like, okay. And then, like, every time he would see me, he would still reach out to do the hug. Started getting these side bumps. Like, yeah.
You're giving him, Ronnie, you're giving him the church hug?
Nah, not even the church hug. Like, bounce, turn it into a bounce. Like, yeah. Anyway, so he messaged me to find out. I was like, nah. And no, but that is not even right. I was like, nah, I'm not really coming for, like, I don't have any lunch today, and I have real work to do, right? And he was like, and I'm not in the mood to be around people. So he was like, oh, every time I want to see you, be moody. I was like, nigga, what the hell? So I was just like, no, I'm just not in the mood for people. And he was like, well, I'm not people. So I was like, well, what are you? And he was like, oh, we could be friends, and that. And I was like, friends are people too.
Ronnie, I find you curving the man, The man, exactly, Tony. The man stand up on the half line and decide he going to launch the ball. He fire in the shot.
He miss. That's all. That's what has happened sometimes. You shoot and you miss. That's what has happened.
So that's a miss. That's a clear miss.
Very blatant. And here what happened, right? Yes, he's in a soft guy era, and that don't work for me. Yeah, what's the real problem? I was watching Love is Blind some night, someday, and he had messaged me like, hey, what are you doing with her? And I was like, oh, I'm watching Love is Blind. And he was like, what's that? That's the show, the romantic show, for the attractive people. And I was like, yeah, LOL. And he was like, I couldn't watch that now because I will watch that and wonder, like, why that is not me. And I was like, huh? I will send you them screenshots. I will send you them.
Fellas, as a note to guys out there, the they have a name for it in the red pill talk, where they talk women like, what is the thing, pre something men, basically men that other women find attractive. Women also do find that attractive, and that's true to a good extent. As a man trying to go into the victim role of poor me, nobody loves me, is not exactly how you get people to love you. You come off as more cringy and desperate. Like, I like, how does that song as an offer? Hi girl, nobody else in this world wants me. I'm desperate for someone. Would you be the one person in the world who wants me? Please?
Yeah, no, that way. So right, so I said that, and the hotel was like, gosh, what did he say? I just try to be this ultra conservative person, and that doesn't work. And I was like, listen, I'm not trying to be ultra conservative because I'm not ultra conservative. I have things that I agree on the conservative side of things, but there are things that I don't, right? And I was kind of going into whatever, and then he's trying to be like, well, are you a traditional type of woman, whatever? But Nathan, me and you had this conversation, right? I am extremely, like, I do not like to be mean to people because I cannot be real mean to the boy, right? I try to lay it down real nice and eat. Like, you know, I'm not really in the mood for people. You know, I didn't say, you know, I'm not in the mood to see you. You know? I didn't say, well, nah, but me already, me want to see you today, no? You know, me and say them kind of thing. Anyway, I was trying to explain to him, I'm not trying to be ultra conservative in terms of marriage. I view those things very conservatively, right? Because again, I take it from a religious point of view as well. So it will lead conservative, you know? So thing, and then he was asking me if I think that stay-at-home mothers is a traditional rule. And I was like, well, while I understand what you're saying, I have stayed at home like how women nowadays want to be stay-at-home mothers. Yeah, I have been like that, but for me, yes, because I don't want my children to go to school, so I want to be the one teaching them. I will be things. I have my business. I could stay home. I just do all kind of things. I'm very good with my hands, you know. So I could afford to be a stay-at-home in a traditional sense, you know. And he was like, that is not how long ago. That is not the women went out. And well, the women were working. So I was like, yeah, they were working, but they were at home. So he was like, well, sometimes. So I was like, well, what the children was? They was having fun and learning. So I was like, well, where they having fun and learning? Inside and outside. Inside and outside. Up where? So he tried to, you know, it's better about. I was like, there was learning home, you know, and then he said, you know, I said nowadays parents not really teaching the children home. You know, it's have children. My aunt have a preschool, and she said now children coming to school, they do it to spell their own name.
Yes. Which
was something you will do with your child from very early on. From the time your child could identify letters, you start letting them spell the name. Spell their name. Children at the age of 3 spelling the name quite comfortably.
Yeah, you're right. That is something you see happening, and you know, I've seen that counter to the you know, there seems to be more of a move now that some people talk about this elevator. That some people talk about moving back to the more traditional roles and stuff, and the stay-at-home mom and the mother at home and all of that, the mothers in the home. And then some people are coming with a counter to that these days, just what you're saying, that the traditional role is not a stay-at-home mother. Mothers were not just staying at home, they were working, if you look at the actual traditional rules. And that's attempting to be technical about something but being wrong about it. What you mean to say is the mothers didn't stay at home being useless, but they were at home.
Exactly.
Listen, the idea of women outside of comfortable places for long periods of time wasn't really a thing that occurred very often, for one, until the sanitary pad was invented. And go read when that happened. Like, some people don't understand the realities because we live in a modern time where certain realities could be negated and shifted, and we forget that certain things are a reality. We forget it. But the people in times gone before could not forget that. They had to live with those things. Those things were very real to them. So the idea isn't that women were useless, but by and large, most women stayed more around the home, closer to the home. They worked, but worked inside of the home. And there's a lot of work that can be done there and around there. So it's not the same thing really as saying, like, so a woman, if she's a stay-at-home mom, is going to just waste her time at home. And to me, the idea that the only way a woman could best, her labor could best be utilized is by going and selling it to a corporation, I don't buy that. I just don't. And the idea that it would be better that you substitute parenting and pay somebody to take up all of your aspects of parenting while you go and make money to exchange for actually doing the parenting. So instead of you parent someone for 8 hours a day, you go work for someone else so that they could pay you so you could pay someone else to parent your child for the 8 hours a day. Like, what's the reasoning behind that? Are you so insecure in your skills at parenting? This is where I envy those with large extended families. Oh yes. You see, the reality is humans are born into families, and no human is born outside of a family. The nature of our biology is, in order for us to be here, there must be a mother, a father, and our mothers and fathers would all have mothers and fathers of their own. Tell that to the CEO of the YY Stock Exchange. What?
Female suffrage.
And like what you're, or the TT Stock Exchange, the, like what you were talking about there, Ronnie. To me, that sounds like thinking solidly. That's thinking solidly. You have an idea of what you want to do, and it's not that it's a pipe dream. It's something that you could see the feasibility of it. Yeah, that's not, I don't see that as something incorrect. And I guess Chuniota would have to be here to defend himself, because I don't understand what that conversation was really about. I learned to spell my name from age 1. Really? Is that so? But Ronnie, somebody say he might surprise you. Why you don't carry him on a date, the desperate guy?
I don't carry him on a date? Excuse us. We're not commenting.
Listen, Ronnie, under all kicks and fun, a man who seems thirsty for a hug that you may not necessarily want to spend a lot of alone time with. That's it. And you see, as a man, there are realities that you have to understand. Okay, people, we've spoken about the reality that men are victims of violent crime. Although many times you hear women talking about the women and the female victims, the reality is men are victims of violent crime more. But that doesn't change the reality that there is a strength imbalance. So I didn't want to go watch. So next thing, the man is a viewer. Let's not lambast the guy. But yeah, there's a strength disparity. So you don't blame for women for being a bit more wary about who they go around with. Like very often, and y'all know I'm no feminist, but there are realities that we must admit. Very often, the way men own, sometimes some men, the only way they see it is if you bring the parallel to them, and if they had to experience something with a big strong gay man, somebody who was attempting to aggressively pursue you, and you did not want them. That's a very uncomfortable thing.
I just said, you know who I'm since? What his name is Kermac.
Kermac was here. Kermac was here today. Kermac jumped in yesterday. He's floating and out. He don't always say when he come in, but I look at the who joins and stuff. He jumps in occasionally. Kermac on the inside every now and again. By
forgive Nathan. He didn't
Creamy.
mean to make fun of you.
And yeah, the officers out there plentiful, man. So today I driving down the highway in some traffic. A officer ride past. It looked like he was going to loud me up. He turn around. He say, "Hey, TikTok man," and he laugh and he ride off. I was like, "What up?" So the
TikTok man.
yeah, girl, I'm TikTok man to the officers apparently. Like
Nice.
I wonder. I always wonder, the officers that watch my content, would that make it more likely for them to give me a ticket if we happen upon them, or would it be less likely? Are they watching my content saying, if I catch him offside, we're rinsing him everything? Or are they enjoying it? I always wonder that. Officers, I hope you give me a blind, just saying. RL says your ticket probably pre-printed. Nah, don't do me that. I safe? Good. I safe. I glad. You all say I safe, I safe.
What is this? No. That's just me. And there's always one ladies about the trying to be nice. When you try to be nice, you're not really interested in. It just end up becoming bad. It just end up getting real terrible. Because
I agree with you, Ronnie. But I think all I'm going to say to add to that is you could do it on a grade. So how nice you are would have to be dependent on how easy they are to shake off. Like if a nice word would shake this person off, well then there's no need to go past nice. But I mean, if the nice isn't working, it doesn't make sense that you stay nice until you end up in a relationship with somebody you don't like. You so nice you're in a relationship and you don't like the person, but you just weren't not nice enough to tell them at any point in time.
Damn, that's a different level of nice.
You know, Ronnie, that'll happen to women too. But you know that happens to a lot of men. You mightn't believe it. You might not believe it, but that actually does happen to a lot of men. They nice themselves into a relation. They don't have what it takes to let down the lady. And the lady will carry on the relationship. There's only current going one way, but we will continue carrying this on. Those things happen.
But anyway, how does what does be in a relationship?
You see, women could impose themselves on men much easier. If a man calls a woman and says, "I coming over by you," no. The woman would be like, no. She's not going to do that. If a woman calls a man and says, "I'm coming over by you now," and he's a nice guy, and he has a house that she can actually come by, is he going to say no? And for men, by and large, many men are trained not to be mean to women. So to turn down women sometimes for some men could be a bit more difficult.
That's
Daniel Knight says, he said, "Listen, I have familiars who have been in similar things like that. And I mean, some of it is your fault, obviously, but they would like to not be where they are. But in order to escape, it would require you to hurt somebody bad. And that person acting like if you hurt them bad, something going to break here. So you trying to play Mr. Nice Guy and end up still in a relationship. So sometimes you have to not be nice.
But just now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're not pursuing other people?
Yes, they may.
Okay.
And don't you know there are many women quite satisfied with being, if I'm the main one, you could pursue who you want.
No, that is not, no, I was just wondering if they were like, trying to say faithful. Because to me, that would be real strange. If you're not interested in somebody, you could really possibly be faithful to that person. And then you're never going to propose to them, and that is the honest truth. Because men won't propose to these women.
Have you never heard, Ronnie, about relationships where women basically have the man emotionally blackmailed into it? You never heard a man talk about he tried to break up with a woman? He tried to and it just couldn't happen. The woman didn't allow it to happen. You never heard about things like that? Well, you only know men down on the thirsty end, so the men who not getting through. Because no, that is actually a thing that happens. That's a thing that happens. And it's oftentimes not the same in the other direction. Very often many women will let a man down quite easily, but sometimes it's not so easy the other way. RL says, I tried to break up with my ex for 6 years. Now we have a child. It's true. I know of those things.
Trying to break up. You should have one more and then just say, these my new girlfriend.
And you see, Ronnie, you're saying that as a woman. Women do those things because the man's retaliation would have to be physical. And the man cannot do anything physical, so he just has to take that and shut up. But so women do those things. They do outrageous things. Like you're hearing a voice note and a woman would tell a man, this is not your child. That's an insane thing to tell somebody you're arguing with in a thing, but women would do things like that. On the other hand, many men are afraid to do that because if you get this woman angry, she is going to shatter everything in this house. She is going to behave insane. She's going to call your mother. She's going to call your grandmother, your brother, your uncle. This woman is... What?
I said I need to find some of these men. I blackmail them into marrying men. That's a horrible idea because you don't want to wake up at 45 next to a man who hates your guts. That's not something you really want to do. And I might hate it too. So the both of we hate each other.
That sounds like a bad idea.
That bedroom is going to be on fire.
You see, RL... Oh, jeez, honey, jeez, Ronnie. Oh, jeez. You see, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. RL said it. And for many men, the man knows this. The man knows this. And some women use that kind as a threat. They use their insanity as a threat. And they know they could get on crazy and generally get very little consequence for it. So they will threaten you with insanity to keep you where you are. They know that you're looking for out. But they will make sure that you're too frightened to escape.
I don't see it. I don't really see it. I saw men who try to dodge relationships already. But more or less the woman just get a free idea after, a docket. And all of these things. So I don't understand how you just end up in a relationship and just stop answering the person's phone. All
right, Ronnie. You be a man, right? You're a man in this situation. Let's say you're a man in the same situation with the hug lover.
Yeah.
But that's a woman. And listen, you see how that man thirsty for hug? There are some women thirsty to hug you too.
Yes,
ma'am, I am a married man. Ease up on the hug. I am feeling your mammary glands on me. Ease me.
My God.
Mr. Shab says some men are forced to stay in a relationship by the woman's mother and not the woman. All of that. All of that. But let's go through this situation.
I am the man a woman love to hug me.
Right. And I come to hug you. What you doing?
I'm getting the church hug.
No, I come to hug you. You trying to put your hand on the side, but I do so and I put that hand and I swing around this hand and hug you front to front. Are you going to shove me off?
No.
So what you doing?
I would just kind of, I'm not going to hug you. I'm not going to hug you back.
Okay. Have you never seen, Ronnie, you don't go out plenty, you never see in a place where a woman hug up on a man neck and he not holding she? You never see that picture? Yeah. All right. So she remains hugged up on your neck and breathing in your cologne and tell you, you're smelling so good, eh? What you doing? And then every lunchtime, she looking for you to pose up and prop up on you because what she's trying to do is pee on her territory. She's trying to make sure that any other woman in the vicinity knows I am with him. You not with this girl, eh? But she trying to do that.
Like what women just do lie and say I have a woman.
Okay. So, okay, you lie and say I have a woman. And she said, well, that is nothing. We just talking and we will see how it go. What next?
Woman just beat girl bad.
I just beat girl too. If you say that you're flirting with me, I just letting you know, eh? If you tell she my woman is beat girl, you introducing us to fight each other. So that's flirting.
Really? That's why that will work on man.
Listen, all your women.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's flirting. I didn't realize.
So,
Wow.
again, and I am messaging you every morning, good morning, and then after about a month, I try out a babe. I sneak in a babe. Good morning, babe. And to see your response. What are you going to say when I tell you, babe, after a month of messaging you every morning? You go as a man, you're going to tell me, don't call me, babe?
I'm going to what's this?
And I say, lol, but you know who this is. Why you acting like that?
I lost all my chat.
That isn't going to work. She's going to tell you who she is. Ronnie, you're answering like a woman. Come, you're the man. You're supposed to escape this. I am trying to hook you into this. I am the hug lover. And I'm trying to catch you. Okay. How are you escaping?
I will do like what I do. Just, yes, ma'am, I'm not a hugging type person. So please try not to hug me. Thank you.
So what you're trying to say about us? You don't want to talk to me again?
I don't want to hug you.
And tears start to roll down her face.
What? Tears?
Ronnie, you don't know woman, Anna. You don't know woman, Anna. I noticed that you don't know your own gender.
Listen, we just cry when we're wrong and don't want to take any accountability, yes. But to cry because somebody don't want to hug you, what kind of mad?
That is where it's going to go. Because she isn't going to take that as you don't want to hug me. She's taking that as you are repelling me. You are pushing me away. You are rejecting me. So why you don't like me? What about me you don't like? Well, you find as to this, and she hit your insecurity that you know she has because she told you all of her insecurities already. She opened up to you. So she throw back one of the insecurities she opened up to you. So you find out to this? Were you going to say yes? And watch this woman burst into tears? You going to say yes, Ronnie?
You need to go to the bathroom.
You know what's going to happen? You're going to dial her back and give her the hug.
Okay, bye-bye. I'm going to feel better, hug, and leave.
And you think that she understand by that conversation? You gave her the hug, you already told her about it, and you think she understands. Next lunchtime, you sit down, eating your whatever you bring for lunch, you thinking sister gone she own way, you see she come back again. And you thinking to yourself, but yesterday we didn't have this conversation. And she come and pretend like you never had the conversation yesterday. She come acting like the day before. Hug.
Wow. Well, they want some crazy He's out there.
Ronnie, you see, you are dealing with this like a woman. You're thinking like a woman who doesn't like a man too much, and that's what's going on.
I never do none of this. That's crazy, people.
Oh, you don't know crazy yet, Ronnie. Ronnie, you have no idea about crazy. You have no idea.
You haven't met a guy enough. The guy that it.
Probably. You're never that kind of bazudi. Listen, just how there are men who would travel from Ikakas to Toku for their loved one. There are some women who do extreme things. The extreme might be in another direction, but they go extreme themselves.
No, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've
By the way, Ronnie, just by the way, you are in a relationship with me now. As the man, you're wondering how you end up you're in a relationship with me now. Because on work, everybody is going to say, we together. So somebody on work and, I see you with this smallie boy. And you're like, boy, me and she not together. Yeah, you saying that. And every lunchtime, all you hug up.
My goodness, that's probably what happened in my office.
And she making sure she paying on that territory, because when the ladies ask you, her lady friends ask, what going on with you, and things, she giggle. Like, no, let me don't talk about that, pretending like there's some more going on.
My goodness.
Listen.
Because workers one work life, they're not really interested in each other in that sense. They're just like real good, you know. Like they're not gonna do anything past that. They're just like, you know.
Sure, okay. And I have a Nigerian prince that I'd like to introduce you to.
I don't work husband, but he was gay, I think. But that was more. I used to look up. I used to come and bring snacks, bring chocolate for me, bring tea bags. We used to exchange tea bags.
Yeah, he was gay.
He was nice.
Definitely gay. You see, y'all who encourage this in the society. Anyway, but as I was saying, Ronnie, that's how it happens. Just like that. With a man, it's different. Like with a woman, the man starts to get too frontish, you reject him. If you do it out loud, everybody, now they aren't even looking at you like you're wicked. They're looking like, what this man do? You just reject this man and embarrass the man, and now the whole crowd is going to look like, what nonsense this man do? Now on the other hand, if you as the man try and raise your voice to reject a woman publicly and she start to ball down the place, everybody going to watch you and wonder, but what this man doing the girl?
So Nathan, what do you suggest doing?
As a man, run. That's the best you could do. Don't reply. Run. Literally run. Because generally as a man, we are not equipped to fight that battle on the woman's playing field. We cannot fight it on your playing field. Like, if there was a man tracking me and he was overdoing it with a fight, I cuff him up and I beat him up, and that's how that done. We fix that. But what you'll do for the woman? Run, brother. Run. Well, RL, that's a fact. That's true. Some men also can take rejection. That's 100% true. I'm not denying that. 100% true.
That's true. I love that. And they're so emotional. Oh my goodness. Men are so emotional these days. It's crazy. Are they really in all this soft guy era?
Who's all your girl?
Men. Somehow them men in all this soft guy
me know all your, what soft guy era? Me living on that life.
I know. I wouldn't like any of his friends, actually. None of his friends. Listen. The guy is heavy into anime, which is cool. I like some anime. He asked me if I want to go to the anime convention with him this year, right? And I was like, well, I went to anime conventions already, and I'm not really interested in going to any again. I've been there, done that, it's fine. I don't really have any interest in it.
He invited you to the anime conference?
Yeah.
That is the date idea.
I guess so. That's a nice date idea if somebody interested in it. If you have the anime cure, then that's crazy.
Go online and look at all of the top anime girls, the top anime streamers, and see if the guys they end up with are anime nerds.
That's true.
Fellas, stay above the influencer. Don't take the chain up. Do not take the chain up.
That's true.
Like your anime on your own. You like your anime, brother. I like some anime all on my own. But our weird autistic hobbies, sometimes they should remain our weird autistic hobbies. That's all I'm saying. You're talking about girls who like anime will jump at that opportunity, anime conference.
No, but okay.
I don't believe that.
No, listen, you can't be like an anime freak. But you could like animes. Because I know this guy, he like anime. But listen, the man is a roughneck, right? He just like anime.
Well, I'm not. That's not an anime nerd. The person who is inviting you to Anime Con, to Comic Con, who is inviting you to Comic Con and going to dress in colored pants and a weird jacket and put on a wig.
But listen, Nathan, the guy who I'm talking about, he does go anime conference. Can the girl does go anime conference? He does dress up. She does dress up. And saying, but he's not like this one. This one is more of a Tanjiro, and the next guy is more like Tomas. I would think about the next person and tell you who. But the next guy is, hey, you know
You know what this sounds like, Ronnie? I was watching a meme recently. They were showing a highlight of some award ceremony with Rihanna, and before she and A$AP Rocky were together, and they were performing some song, and she was talking about the experience, and he touched her butt or something like that, and her whole team thought she was going to flip out, and she didn't. And the caption of it was, it's not harassment, it's about whether she's attracted to you or not. And the reality is, if a woman is not attracted to you, she has all right to tell you, don't touch me. So you can't be upset with a woman for that, but that is actually true. You can get away going to Comic-Con with your green hair and all of that if you are already a very attractive person. I mean, there's a reason Channing Tatum takes all the most ridiculous roles. There's nothing he could do that will make him unattractive. So he could do that. But, brother, if you know you aren't, how they call it, if you know you're not a Chad or a Tyrone out there.
I take it back. He's not even Tanjiro. He's the one who just do the lightning. I forget his name. He just always faint away. Does only fight when he passed out. I would say that is him, and he in love with Nezuko. Anyway, he more like that.
Ronnie, we believe you. You are into anime. You don't have to convince us anymore.
Into anime. I'm into Demon Slayer, and that's it. I like Bleach. That's it.
You have any pictures? You have any pictures on your wall and all of that?
I had a picture of T.I. on my wall and I take it off. And I had a picture of Chris Brown and I take it off. The only one I have up is with Lil.
Welcome to Chris Brown.
Well, allegedly. Well, previously, he beat a woman.
Who, Rihanna?
Well,
Here's a question, Ronnie, to a woman. Is there anything a woman could do that could justify a man physically hurting her?
Yes, sir. If it's of anything a woman could do
that could justify a man beating her, to you?
If she hit him, yeah.
Is it possible such could have occurred?
Yeah, I'm not saying no. I just saying at the time I had him up and I take him down. And I think if a woman hit you, you should hit she back. I hit you 10 times harder.
Ooh, no, fellas, no. There's a disclaimer here. I put a disclaimer here. There's a disclaimer. What some people don't, especially some women, what some women don't understand is the actual strength disparity between men and women.
Yes, Nathan. That is why you have to hit her very hard so she will never do it
10
again.
times harder you may damage somebody.
So you just teach children, right? So when you're child,
No,
again,
you don't kill them. Don't kill them, no.
You're gonna continue to hit me. So better we cut that right there. That done.
Oh good Lord. Oh
You
good
can
Lord.
realize, this girl just hit real hard. This man just hit real hard, boy. Let me stop playing with you, yeah?
So you say no small touch. Go home one time.
Israel them mother.
Okay, you like to be controversial. I see Keenan Liverpool says that's how crime does start. Men walk away and ladies walk away.
That is not how crime does start. Like how crime does done.
I was thinking about something similar because I mean, if somebody comes to physically harm you, the crime already started there. The crime started when they came to you. That's when the crime started. You may say it's a continuation, but it didn't start there. It started when the first aggressor came. That's when it started. Some people like those toxic relationships, though it's exciting for them. I saw a video online, I think it was on X. I saw the video.
The man and the woman fighting.
Jump out the car, beat up each other, rolling in the road, hard lash, jump kick, stamp to chest, beat on the ground. And they jump back in the car together and drive off.
Not different, boy. I'm not interested in that.
Nah, bro. Listen, I like simple living, you know. I don't like complicated living. I really don't like complicated. You see, that living too hard for me. That's too much stress. I like less stress than that personally. That sounds like something that's going to send me in my grave way too early.
I don't want to love now.
Nah, I don't want to love. I'm good. Give me vanilla, simple, plain love.
Yeah, nah, you're good. But I'm not playing that, and I'm not teaching. I'm sorry, I'm not teaching my sons not to hit you. I'm definitely not teaching them.
So you're telling your sons box them?
Same speed.
Oh no!
I think a lot of women have the mentality, like, men not supposed to hit women, and then they kind of run with it and do real stupidness.
They do the most.
Right?
That's
obviously, true. I'm not telling you to hit women. Don't ever hit a woman. If she aggravating you, she just aggravating you, to hit her. If she hit you, hit she back. It just be like a surprise thing now, like, it just be like, oh, what just happened there? The man really hit me, right? Hey.
And here's another question in that. Okay, you're saying that, well...
I'm not teaching them to be a bully. But men just be bullies. That is the problem. Men just be bullies because they know the men not going and do them nothing. That is why they just do it. They just come up in your face and think.
I have seen that way too many times. There are many women out there who purposefully attempt to push a man to the physical violence point. Okay, we're saying that no words someone says should be able to push you over that point. But should there be some consequence for such? Like, I find sometimes there isn't enough negative societal pressure put on aggravation and nagging.
Nagging, not a big one.
Like, if you The reality is there's a physical disparity between us. If you are living with a person who is stronger than you, all right, it's their responsibility to keep their strength at bay and not hurt you. Shouldn't it be your responsibility to not attempt to aggravate the person at the same time? Wouldn't that be a sensible responsibility? I'm talking socially here, that a responsibility we attempt to push out there. Instead of what Keenan is saying there, we constantly talk about the walkaway side. Why don't we dial back and talk about before the walkaway? How about you stop the aggravation? I don't hear much conversations on that.
Talk is talk, because I remember I was a friend of mine. I was like with a guy friend of mine, and his ex, real aggressive, right, with the whole situation. She aggressive to me, she aggressive to he. That's my friend. He called me because he was sick, so I went to check him, and the one thing, and the woman real. If you see the woman, she checking me, body checking me like, and I like, ma'am. You see my size. If I wanted to push you, I'd push you. You understand? So what you talking about? I trying to push you. I'm not trying to push you. Anyway, so the man say, here what? I will leave because I don't really want this starting. Because he in pain, so he didn't want to walk, right? I will leave. When we trying to get to the car, the woman by the car, well, carrying on, she said, phone and face and all kind of thing. That is the reason now. He tell me, saying, calm down yourself, because I would have boxed that phone out of she hand and would have done. But woman, and I tell her, I say, listen, you're only carrying on so because you know that man wouldn't hit you. You're carrying on so because you know he wouldn't hit you. If it was a man who used to, she had, when she ex-box out, when she front it, I say, if you had that man who did box out that front it of yours, where when that carry on, so, she, you know that? I say, yes, I know your teeth missing. I don't smile bright. But I really carry with she. But you know he wouldn't hit me. I say I know he wouldn't hit you because women who does get hit don't behave like you. You know. Women who does get hit don't behave like
you. Know, they talk about that in road rage. Because with most men, there's the underlying threat of violence. So with most men, if you railing up for a man, you have to understand that we rail up, this is going to reach to violence. Men aren't going to rail up for each other the entire time somebody going to call you a gal. At some point in time, this is very likely going to reach the blows. So if you are not stronger than me, you will bat in your crease when we start that thing. Very regularly between men on the roadway, you see this kind of road rage. Somebody wind down the window to cuss up somebody. When the person responds and wind down the window and they see who they're tackling, between men, they size up each other and they figure out, okay, this man is going to take me, I'll wind up my window and mind my business. Go on. I was vexed, but never mind now. That's the kind of road rage you see with me. Regularly you see that with me. And I'm a taller than average Afro twin Begonian, and you know there are stereotypes out there. And occasionally I have myself a bit scruffy and stuff. Sometimes, somebody, boy, watch how you're driving now, boy. What they had to watch the road too. That's men, because you know there's this threat. Okay, you sure you could handle this? But with women regularly, you see a tiny woman in her Prado, a 90-pound woman in a Prado give you a bad drive, and then she whining on the window, tiptoeing over the seat. Because she has an understanding. She knows she could cost you anyway till Sunday. And very likely the chances are you will never do anything about that.
I will stop doing that then.
Exactly. Women I found women are the worst road rage offenders. Nobody does road rage like women. Because the man understands the man you're cussing up might have a gun. And if you cuss him too much, he might shoot you. Women don't have that threat.
I think women, as much as women like to talk about men being terrible, I think we all know that men aren't. Because if they were, we would not be so aggressive with them. Like things women just do. But this man say when he does two fellas who does do the little podcast, he say
Fresh and fit.
women can't not them. I'm talking about the fun guys. Not them waste of time. James and whatever his name is, and you say women can't conceive can't conceive consequences or something like that. The man say it's true because consequences.
Yeah, I did positive.
What do you really have?
Yeah. Yeah, many women are protected from consequences. And that's why, to me, like, even beside what side you come down in terms of the morality of abortion, the fact that they push abortion as the number one woman's issue, while it's basically attempting to undo a consequence of your own actions. Like, they like to go around and make it, and actually it's not for victims. It's not about victims. It's about undoing consequences. And the fact that that is the number one woman's issue in the West, that tells you something. The number one woman's issue is attempting to undo consequence. That's like if the number, imagine if men out there push the number one men's issue as trying to undo, what you call this thing, child support. If that was the number one men's issue, men were marching the streets up and down. Politicians were speaking about this, whole speeches. NGOs were being developed. People were launching institutions and think tanks, all with the purpose of stopping men from paying child support. They would have said men are evil, that they hate their children. Why would this be the number one issue for men? Like, okay, I understand some men pay unfair child support, but why would men take that as the number one issue for men is to not take care of their children? Really?
Yeah, that's wild. But okay, I get you.
That's the number one woman's issue? That seems...
I don't understand the abortion thing, because I had the same conversation with a girl I was in, right? And they was talking about abortions, and obviously I look at it with the religious lens, right? Obviously, about abortions. I don't believe in abortions, right? And when these girls come and they're talking about why we should, like, it should be a choice still. It should be a choice still. Okay, great. But then, how many abortions should one person be allowed? And then when you come to say, well, okay, we'll say, well, you can't get more than one.
Yeah.
So what happens the other time when you get pregnant?
And you know, most abortions, is it most? But the majority of abortions come from women who already had a child. And many of them are second and third abortions, as in many of the people who seek abortions are people who sought abortions before. Because it's like the women who make a child with a deadbeat dad and then are surprised that he's a deadbeat dad to your child. Can't you see the track record? Like, if you had a track record of slipping up in this act and getting yourself pregnant, what changes? Especially if you think you could just undo the consequence.
Well, then just better you go and get a hysterectomy or something. If you don't want children, prevent yourself from getting them. But I
think in many places, girls under a certain age wouldn't even be allowed to get a hysterectomy. And probably with good cause, because okay, a 19-year-old girl wants to go out there and be fresh and fancy, and maybe she wants to get a hysterectomy to make sure there's no risk of anything. But she's 19. Is she sure that she would never want any children? She might say it then, but she isn't 35 at the moment. She doesn't know what her 35-year-old self would say. And would it behoove us as a society to protect 35-year-old Nancy from 19-year-old Nancy? Because they may be two different people. And in a society, should we do that? And I think maybe we should. Maybe we should protect the older lady from her younger self. And that's why in many places they actually prohibit that. You're not going to easily get a hysterectomy as a woman. You don't just walk in somewhere and tell them, take it out.
No, you don't. No, but you can get so while there are like some things about getting your tube side, you could still go privately and do it.
Yeah.
But
I
you
mean,
would still, and to me, if that's what you really want, I don't think you should be able to go to the public hospitals and get your tubes tied. That's ridiculous. Nothing wrong with you. Why you should get your tubes tied, and why should we pay for that? You go private and pay for your tubes to get tied, eh? That's like this woman who was in Trinidad and they wouldn't tie her tubes for her. And the minister, Mr. Terence Yalsing, everybody on top of Terence Yalsing is not a good minister for a few reasons. But this was definitely my number one reason. Terence Yalsing come and talk about why the hospital should block the woman from getting you remember that story? Terence Yalsing himself went to get the woman, went to help the woman to get she tubes tied. She was probably late 20s, early 30s or something like that. And the hospital told her she couldn't get her tubes tied. She wasn't married and I don't think she had any children, and she said she did want children. And to me, that's fine, privately, and pay for that to happen, but the hospital to open you, nothing is wrong with your uterus, nothing is wrong with you, nothing is wrong with your body. Why should we, taxpayers who only deal with situation that life and death in most cases, have to take time out for your elective surgery?
I agree 100%. Here's how I see this. The purpose of the government is to protect people's rights and protect it as long into the future as possible. So the government is in the family business. That's what caused the government to enter into the whole marriage business itself, because governments sustain by families procreating. Like, people talk about making children and they think it like, it's just a simple choice these days. While this is the whole way, all we doing here is because people had children. If nobody, like, nearly all the other human activities could wrap up and we'd still be here. If we wrap up the children making activities, that's it. No more humans. We end. And then, to me, the government's focus should be on families. Like, okay, fine, you could do what you want, but our focus as the government is on families. The reason the government does something to help you here is because if we help you, you would reinvest in your family, which is going to do good for the country. If you want to be a genetic dead end, why should I help you? You go do that and exit stage left. Fine, that's up to you. But I don't think as a society, why should we pay any mind to you? Positive radiation says that not making any sense. Come explain why positive.
But just quick, okay, why positive? I see you muted and unmuted.
I don't want to say that, but I want to be devil's advocate. Yeah, why I would feel that doesn't make no sense. Why the state should mind your child? You can't afford to make a child or you're in a position to financially make none.
Who said the state should mind your child? I never said that.
See, they should focus on families.
Yes, they should.
Families, men and women making children, husband and wife. Husband has to take care of his wife and his children.
You know how the state focuses on families? The state focuses on families like this. They give incentives for families. So married couples pay less taxes on certain things. Married couples are able to do certain things easier. Children in a family allow for even more benefits. The orientation of the state, the public hospitals, the public sector is more focused on families and helping families. That's how the state focuses on families.
Define family for me.
A family is parents and children.
They're smart. You know exactly where I'm coming from. But I mean, like,
and I mean that literally, because here's why I think that's important, because I am saying this and I'm saying it in big. The rainbow folks, to me, should not be included because they are not that kind of family. They are not procreators.
Yeah, no.
The government is about us going into the future the best. You are a genetic dead end. Okay, you can be that way, but let us who are interested in propelling our society into the future, let us see about us. We want to drive and go down Shaka And then after, we want to go down Guaya. And after Guaya, we feel we're going to make it around Manzanilla and then tour the whole island. Probably. You saying that you feel you want to call it quits half hour into the ride. Okay, fine. You could jump out and wherever you jump out, you jump out. But then you shouldn't have any say in what we do with the car. How when we go in the gas station and we're buying snacks, you talking about what snacks you want to eat. You not in the ride. You jumping out now. You eat what snacks we give you by chance because we are here for the long ride. You're just here for a good time and a short time. Okay, cool. But you just have to tag along.
Find an equal place.
Huh?
Every creed and race find an equal place.
That's creed and race. You're equal in the place. But what does that have to do with us facilitating it? You're equal. We didn't say you're unequal. What does find an equal place even mean? It means that you're treated equally under the law. The police don't lock you up more. The courts don't look at you worse. But when we look at what we invest in, the government does not invest in everything, obviously. So as it stands, everybody doesn't get an equal investment from the government. So
they will say if you're investing in a normal heterosexual family, why not invest in a rainbow family?
Why? I just made the point why. I made the point why the government started this.
And they have call this thing now, artificial insemination, and they have donor carriers and all that kind of craziness.
To me, again, that's outside the realm of governance. To me, that goes into science fiction kind of stuff, and you're playing with some strange stuff there. If we're talking about how humankind, we are a human race. If we are talking about how humans propel themselves into the future naturally, it's like a conservationist group. If you are a conservationist group and you are in charge of a natural park, you are in charge of one of those big natural parks, national natural parks in Africa or something, the Serengeti. You are in charge of that. What you are keen on for the species there is in how they propagate into the future, maintaining the numbers. That's your business, making sure that balance is there. That's what I'm saying. And things outside of that, like, you're free to engage in it, you're free to enjoy, but that's not what we focus on helping. We had a baby grant. I disagree with a baby grant. I don't think it's the government's job to mind your child. That's not what I'm saying.
That's welfare state we beginning to go down in.
I don't want a baby grant.
But just two things. Positive, stop advocate for the devil. One. But two, in South Korea, well, I know you know them movements that move. It's had the men going their own way, and then it's had the women by themselves, and you know that one.
Mm-hmm.
In South Korea, they was talking about how men swore off men like 4 years ago. They were like, "Nah, we're not gonna be like no men or whatever." And they were like, "See, well, not say whatever." This called the first level of education. It had a record number of children and stuff, and saying, you know, basically, they're so proud of these women, like, you're so proud, but then you're all the same ones are going to complain about retiring late. You can't retire again, but you can't retire because you didn't fully work. You can't retire because you didn't bring anybody else behind you. So, which is where my anti-cams, I know you just hire people and them listening. I hope Kito's for somebody to listen to. For me, it should be the NIS should work. You could only receive pension if you have children. And going back to what I was saying, if you have children, you can get pension. The more children you have, the more pension you get because it's the children paying your pension. You're going to have children, again, if you want, no, this is my idea. If you want this idea, in the next election, I'm not running, just write my name in. Right? Everybody write all their name. 28 people write all their name. Write my name, money. Right? Cool. I'll say, right. What we need is, you have children. You need to have at least 2-3 children to qualify. When I get cheaper housing, and we're not paying in them buildings and them like what they do, them buildings, you know the buildings.
Maloney?
Not not talking about those, but we're talking about some others, right? We're gonna give you some affordable housing. You're gonna be able to retire early. Once your children reach in a job and they to pay your pension, that's the thing about it. Your children have to be willing to pay your pension, so you better make plenty, because it might have one or two ungrateful children that will not be willing to pay your pension, so you better make about 10. So if you make 10, about 5 of them might be saying, mommy do everything for you, daddy do everything for you, they're gonna pay money into your pension and you could retire.
You know though, Ronnie, that is literally how life worked. Until the state came in to defend and help some people. That is literally how life worked. When you got old and you couldn't work, your family had to take care of you. And if you were in bad graces with your family, dog eat your supper, as they say. Hard luck. That's life. Like, now we live in societies where we have institutions and different things we created and crafted to help to negate some of this. So some people don't see the need, and regularly I see when this conversation is brought up, people, these millennials and their folly, the folly they like to preach all about the place. So you were having a child just to take care of you? Oh, so selfish. How dare you? Is that what children are for? You're so selfish. You're only having a child to take care of you. Children are not there to take care of you. Man, shut up. You have no children. What do you know about what children are there for? Like, what do you expect to happen? How do you expect this to work? We as humans, the senescence is a real thing. We get old. We are not able to do the same things we did before. We need resources to live. When we get old, it's harder for old people to collect those resources. Who is going to get the resources for the old people? Well, there's a process that happens when you're young, whereby you can have children. And those children would be in their prime, generally speaking, when you are old. So they can do the work and collect the resources, and you don't need to. And all of a sudden now there's a trade-off, because now there are grandparents that could help the parents see about the grandchildren, while the children help the grandparents see about themselves. Wow.
I have a question.
Yes, positive.
I know we probably discussed this already, but as life goes on, thoughts and positions has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at children being birthed by the economic class, you would see, in my small view, disparity. So, respect to live in an HGC house, pay $35 rent for the month, make 5 children, have a food yard, and you want to travel on the sea for free. How does that economics equate now? Having children, looking selfishly to turn back and help support you as your age.
A large problem with that is in how we create those things. Those things you just spoke about, almost surely that's an Afro-Trinidadian, and those are all situations created by the government. There were Indo-Trinidadians where this was how the family operated. Daddy worked in Caroni 1975 Limited and got $60 or something like that. Mommy was a stay-at-home mommy. Daddy came back from Caroni and would go and plant garden on the side of the river. And the vegetables you would bring home, and that will be tal curry for the roti. And that's what we eat. And those people had 5 children, 3 doctors and 2 lawyers. Magic. How that magic happened? Where was their HDC house and food card and free this and free that? And those poor people, how poor people had 5 children, how they live. What about Pampers and milk? Like, come on. Those, as I keep saying, those are narratives we have been sold. Those are narratives we have been convinced about. It's not actually so. What is the thing that makes it prohibitively expensive for you to have children positive?
I was not discussing about it. I purposely did not make mention of that. But that ideology, something would come to mind. So how do we now change that ideology? Begin to change that culture and that mindset when we come out that dependency screening syndrome.
I think we stop giving. Like, and it sounds harsh. You see, that's the problem with a lot of what the state does, you know. The analogy that I like to go with, as in if the government started teaching children to walk within a couple generations, we'd believe that children couldn't learn to walk without the government. And if we were in a stage where the government taught children to walk, we would feel like they can't learn to walk without the government. And if someone comes into government and they're saying, well, our plan is to remove the children walking lessons from the government, everybody's going to be, oh my goodness, how are we going to walk? And similarly with this, if you talk about removing some of those things, people are going to think like, oh no, it's going to collapse. You look at, I like to use the US examples because they have the statistics over the lengthy period of time to look at it. What's the modern city project, what I forget the name they called it, where Lyndon B. Johnson in the United States developed the projects basically, and incentivized mothers to not have a husband around. You got the money if there wasn't a daddy in the home. They incentivized it, and then bam, surprise, single mother rates exploded within the urban families. How would you undo that if you had to think it? Remove the incentive. Yeah. So you see, and this sounds, especially to some feminists. You see, if you're a Marxist feminist, a communist feminist, this is insane to you. Because a communist feminist, remember, the communists believe that the state is supposed to basically handle everything. So the communist feminist is very happy that the state has removed the man from having to provide for the woman. Now the state does that job, and the woman can be free to express herself and reach her full identity and all of that. But we're seeing the societal ills coming from that.
Nathan asked you on this, and I know you really wanted me to come. Right? This is one of my more extremist views. I'm of the view the money earned in Trinidad, spent in Trinidad, stays in Trinidad. Not 1 cent should come across here. The money earned children. And to be honest, how we hang, we swing. Because the first few years may be hard, but eventually we figure out a way to survive and to make it. It's just my harsh reality.
Positive. Bro, I 100% agree with you in that. But I'm telling you, if you were to get in power and do that, the assassination attempt would come. I am nearly certain somebody going to try here.
I'm not going to attempt those.
Because some of my positions or views are extremist, and especially when it comes to that. Because I believe necessity is the mother of all.
You're right.
If you do have nobody, try some way out to figure it out because you want to live, you want to survive. I think that's human.
Exactly.
Social support programs should go.
Listen. If single mothers could not survive on their own, there would be much fewer single mothers.
Exactly. So I just wanted to point out a few things. Back to the first point he was talking about, children have to take care of the mothers and stuff like that. A lot of people in our generation, the nostalgic generation, we always raving about how Lion King was the best movie. Let them miss the point of a circle of life. Life have a circle. So your parents take care of you and you take care of parents in return. That's how it is with life, the circle, the cycle.
Yeah.
Right? But to the point, the next point, which is the state helping people. There's this new program, not to knock it, and this is not what you talking about. What you sent me, that is not what I'm talking about. But basically, it have a program where the government building houses for people, right? But you have to be of a certain salary, like below a certain salary, and the house fee. So it's like 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms. I can't remember how much it is. And people who not working qualifying for it faster than people probably just working for very small money or whatever, right? And I was telling my mother, because we have somewhere, right? And when I wanted to build it up and build apartments or whatever. So I told mommy, I was like, Mommy, go and apply. just like with my salary, we can't apply for that. So I say, well, let daddy go and say that you so he got qualified because it is on that certain amount of like 50,000 combined if you're single, what I can tell you. But yeah, I was like, because people in the upper class, let's call them people, the rich people, they don't need that incentive. And the poor alone getting it. So that in of itself is totally destroying the middle class because you can't access it. You on your own can't really build a proper house.
You know, the middle class is the whipping boy, you know. The middle class is often the whipping boy because the wealthy people gain power very often by attempting to manipulate the poorer people. There are masses in the lower classes, and if we could sprinkle 0.001% of the earnings we have down there and bribe them into keeping us in power, then we don't even have to worry about the middle class. We will take the middle class's money and use it to bribe the lower class and keep us in power. Works beautifully, doesn't it? You regularly see that, but there's a balance to be had where there is something to be said about society's need for catching the people that fall through the cracks. And that's the thing with the welfare programs and the social programs. That's a difficult thing to balance, where as a society, I think we don't want to see people destitute and dying on the road in our society. That's not a good thing. So the problem is, how exactly do you solve that? How do you help them? Because I think as a society, it benefits us to help them.
Really?
Yes, it does. Because in the long run, these people are going to decrease our own standard of living. If you are just looking at it selfishly, people who fall through the cracks are going to be more oriented to criminality. They are going to destroy your cities. They are going to be the street dwellers. So even if you are totally just selfish, totally on a selfish trip, it works best to try and help them out of that situation. The thing we want, yes, they are already doing that. That's why you don't want them there. You're trying to figure out a way to get them out of that position. The problem we have is that the things we very often do just reinforce the situation. We're just making sure they cannot exit. We're helping them momentarily and making sure they could survive in that same position. What you're trying to do is figure out a way to maybe help them now, but encourage them out of it. That is actually a tricky thing.
Well, I have a very different thought.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could allow people to fall through the cracks and they fall. And other people, like I think the younger generations, they kind of look and they fairly smart. They look and learn previous generations did. So if they see well, are falling through the cracks, saying that is not really for me, boy, and they make it so very, I don't know, like shameful. You're like, you bring back shame, or you could just do some dictators might do and just pass and kill people. That also works. They just wipe them.
Oh, you really? You make some sharp turns sometimes, you know. You're going down the road and.
Advocate, but somebody might actually be the devil.
Jesus!
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about, Rani? No. Let's not wipe out. Let's not wipe out the people. Let's not wipe out the people. And I agree with the shame side. And the thing with helping people who fell through the cracks, it's not that they don't fall through the cracks.
Wipe out, like, working people.
I know exactly who you're talking about, Roni. I know who you're talking about.
Right.
I don't think we should just pass and wipe them out either. That song's a bit scary.
What's in the circle?
Why people stress people though?
and what's going on, love?
Look, the host agree with me. She coming back.
No, she woke up.
Yeah, that's my point.
The thing is, She distracted my whole point, and you wipe out the people talk. The the thing with the people who fell through the cracks, it's not like they aren't falling through the cracks, they are falling through the cracks. The lessons are there to be seen. But you aren't leaving them to splat on the ground underneath, because that's not going to help our society. We're thinking about helping our society here. And what can we do that will best help our society? I think it's to make sure that the people who do slip through the cracks are caught before they reach into a position where they attempt to take out their despair on the society. I don't think that's going to benefit us. So even if it is that after they slip through the cracks, we have to take them and treat them as children from then on forward, well, okay, but I don't think just leaving people who have slipped through the cracks inside of our society to burn it down because that's what they're going to do, I don't think that would be a good idea.
That's why I wipe them out to prevent them from burning it down.
Let me jump in here a little bit. Police has been running back on the right track. But I think what we need to also do from this freeness culture, let people pay for things. Even if it's a small contribution, let people begin to pay because it will add value to it, because it takes something. I mean, paying up, we just use it to pay attention. We to really pay attention, I think it will help our society and our realize the value in paying for things and ease off. Like subsidies, I find subsidies should be pulled.
I agree.
Some of the subsidies.
That's too much. People are so lazy. Oh my goodness. I can't take them. But yes, positive. Yeah, that was what they wanted to say.
I didn't run yet. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I have had the opportunity to be among some of the secondary, the primary schools in Tobago a while. A number of them island have had the ability to interact. And sometimes when we are wrong, we could tell what the problem is leadership, even at the primary school level. So if you have delinquent leaders at the primary school level, what do you expect to happen? You can have delinquent students at that early age. So if children under 13, 14 already fully understands delinquency, what's going to happen going?
It's on one.
I'm here.
Yeah. What's going to happen? If the primary schoolers or the preschoolers already know to cheat on an exam, why go and tell you in Form 1 and Form 2? You're a professional cheater by then. I mean, I can't change your mind. So sometimes I think we got to figure out how we could start a little smaller and go right down to the base and see where we could make that impact. I mean, like we got to teach parents how to parent in some way or form, and then this group of parents going to say, teach them to be inclusive. Like, if we say leave the whole thing to go straight, and we say, Lord, come, according to my granny. God, come fast and take your walk.
Here's the thing, I think, like, just as we were talking about with the state replacing fathers in certain communities, and you see the result, if you replace the fathers, well, you replace the fathers. And the state has replaced some of the other societal institutions in some of those cases. The kind of disregard, like, a lot of the young people, the only institution they retain respect for is the government, the police, the school, their school teachers. They disregard family, they disregard religion, they disregard cultural institutions. And the thing is, some of those institutions were the institutions that taught you how to be a good mother, that taught you how to be a good husband, that taught you how to be a good wife, that taught you how to be a good dad. That was the purpose of those social institutions. So you're saying that we need to teach people how to be parents, and very likely many people who say that in modern times would look for a state solution for that. They would want the Ministry of Social Development to launch a parenting 101 program where they hire parenting experts who come out of the university and have no children to come out there and teach parents about what to do. And you know that corporal punishment would reinforce traumas and all of that. And we throw out the fact that religious institutions and families taught all of these things for millennia before I think we are using the wrong tools for the wrong jobs, and we need to go find the right tools and get them sharpened and use them in the right place. Like when I hear the feminists talk about you shouldn't be teaching your daughters how to dress, teach your sons not to rape and foolish nonsense like that. There's no class to be taught on those things. Those are values.
Persons coming out of IDGS with doctorates and talking, and then they've been paid big money for those kind of things.
Yes.
Setting
Rubbish.
I mean, so yeah, it's a real booze me day. Talk about them kind of thing day. Because we're not being practical and pragmatic about the matter, like we're afraid to face the reality. Come on.
Well,
Something what we was working long ago.
Here's the thing. I think there are people being practical and pragmatic about it. There are still religious institutions that are attempting to do that. There are religious institutions that are attempting to re-strengthen themselves as social institutions too. And I think we need more of those things. Social institutions that are outside of the government. The government isn't going to teach you how to be a good parent. That's something that you have to be embedded in on a daily basis. What is that going to be? Okay, you are a secularist now. You are an atheist now, an agnostic. You aren't in any religion. All right, well, you better find a good replacement because there needs to be one. Okay, you learn. You have the cut flower. I remember hearing somebody talk something about this cut flower morality, where okay, you grew up under fiercely religious parents. Now you are irreligious. You strayed away from that religious birthing, but you grew up like that. So that conscience you have, that discipline you have, those ideals you have, the priority list you have, where it points to, those were all embedded into you earlier on. Now you are surviving on them. Now, if you attempt to create another generation from scratch without those moorings that you had, good luck. We just on the way out, Trini Hotep. We just on the way out. So let me hear your closing statements there, Positive and Ronnie.
He could have come and defend himself or watch his
midnight. Nah, it's midnight. Gotta go.
It's early.
Any closing statements, Positive?
Yeah, man. Controversial statements provoke critical conversations. Good night.
Good night, sir. Ronnie?
I am all for letting people go through the cracks and splattering on the ground, wiping them out. I believe that if we, you see, I'm sorry to go a little further. I think probably it would be best for Trinidad and Tobago to really go by the IMF and let the IMF cancel everything. IMF could do it for we because like we don't understand. We can't sustain it, right? But we're calling for it, right? Right? I was when Positive was talking, I was referring to my coworkers and them, right? Always talking about if the son of everybody and happen and the crime rate must go up. Well, okay, good luck. Come in my house where I have nothing to eat and rob me. Right? If you so want to commit crime, come in my house and rob me with my sugar and flour. Right? So I'm gonna make a roti. But yeah, I strongly believe half of them say, half of those things could cut. Cut all them things. Let people figure it out for themselves. Too dependent on free things that we get. Those things are luxuries that we do have to get. And a lot of these things need to shut up, Potter. Shut up. Everybody enjoy their night. And yeah, I am mindful. And you will agree with me one day. You will see me up there reigning supreme.
Ronnie, I am afraid. I feel like you might open up concentration camps.
No. I'm not putting them in no camps.
So you're just wiping them off on the street right there?
Yeah. But I have like a box of KFC. Check me chicken.
All right, people. Okay, on that note, folks. Exactly, is he real? Folks, let's wrap it up here before we have this authoritarian dictator speaking about her plans to wipe out the world any further.
By the way, that is a very not conservative point.
You're not conservative. You're a fascist. You want to wipe people out. You're looking to done it. Yes, she cold and bitter. She like Karaili in the freezer, cold and bitter.
I am doing it for their own good.
Killing them for their own good. Listen, Ronnie. On that note, people, I hope you're educated, informed, or certainly entertained. And I'll see you guys again for the next Mindful Live show, which is going to be tomorrow, Friday night, around that 9:30 p.m. time. Until then, people, stay well, stay good. Peace out. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.